I've done it. I got my degree. I have graduated from university. And that means that this week, for the first time in my entire life, I can say that I am a self-employed digital content creator. 10 years ago, when I started this channel, if you had told me that I would not only have YouTube as my job throughout high school and throughout college, but after college as well, I would have thought you were freaking nuts. When I started Snazzy Labs, I had no idea that you could even make money on YouTube. The tech community as we know it today did not exist. There were a handful of YouTubers that were making videos about tech, only very few of whom still make videos today, me being one of them. Look, my channel hasn't blown up. It hasn't gone viral. I haven't grown as quickly as some other YouTube creators. But the fact that this is my job is just incredible to me. And now that I have more time and resources to actually do a good job, to actually put as much time as I've been wanting to put into this thing for nearly a decade, I think I can make it grow even bigger. And I'm excited for the future of Snazzy Labs, and I am so thankful that you have made this possible. But this isn't about that. This is a Q&A, so let's answer some of your questions. Question 1. Jack asks, do you think that the iPads, and in particular iPads Pro, will ever be able to achieve everything you can do on a desktop? I would argue that they're gaining more and more features every single day. I mean, the fact that a full version of Photoshop is very quickly coming to iPad is exciting. And I think that there's actually an emergence of platforms. I'm a crazy nut job that thinks that in maybe 5 or 10 years, macOS and iOS won't be distinct operating systems, even though that Apple says they're not becoming the same. I think it's inevitable, especially if we move macOS to ARM-based processors. It makes even more and more sense that these platforms will kind of become one. Now, that's not to say that the experience on the Mac and the future of the iPad and the future of the iPhone will all be the same. But if they share the same code base and developers can create apps for all platforms that are slightly different, tailored to the environment and the input method and the screen size, yeah, I absolutely think that iPads will become more powerful and be able to do more desktop-like stuff in the future. Number 2, Samuel asks, what are you looking forward to as a full-time YouTuber? What kind of videos do you plan to make with the increased time that you have? That's a great question. First of all, I'd like to ask a little bit of patience from you because I don't know. I've never done this full-time. And so over the next couple of months, I'm going to be experimenting with how frequently I publish content, on what days I publish content. I'm as new at this as you are. And so I would ask that as I create content that you provide your feedback. Like, I did like this style, I didn't like this style. And don't worry, my videos aren't going to change. They're going to be the same Snazzy Lab videos you hopefully have come to like, but they are going to be improved and streamlined a bit. I've been kind of drowning the last couple of years because I never had a set schedule. I'd make one video, be done, and then be like, okay, now I've got a couple days to do homework. And then the whole process would start over because I'd need to make another video for the next time. The first immediate goal is to publish with consistency. So I'll pick a day of the week where I start publishing a video. And for the next couple of months, you'll probably continue to see only one video per week. But I very quickly want to expand that to multiple videos per week because that's really where the algorithm starts to favor you. If you're only publishing once a week, it's really hard to get views and to grow your channel. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is because I'll have more time and resources and foresight, I want to be able to do new cool series that I've been planning for years, believe it or not, but just haven't had the resources or time to do. One is a very exciting series I want to debut this fall. I'm actually going to shoot the first episode in a couple of weeks. It's not here in Salt Lake. It's a touring thing, and each video will be in a new location around the world, and it has to do with technology. And it's so excited, and I'm just stoked. So hang on. Great things are coming. Trust me on that. Number 3, Evan from Instagram asks, what was the most annoying class you took during college? Believe it or not, I actually loved most of my classes in school, but one that really irritated me was information systems. And I don't remember what the course name was. The number was 4410, but it was basically like Microsoft Office. And I was thinking to myself the entire class, dude, I know how to do this. And I don't care. Everyone knew how to do this. We had learned this in high school. And especially me, given that it's my job to know tech, I was just remarkably frustrated by the entire course. And a lot of stuff that was taught was outdated, and I hated it. Number 4, Santiago asks, if you were in charge of the new Mac Pro, what changes would you make to hardware and design with the old trash can Mac Pro? Well, first of all, I would get rid of that entire design because it was bad from the get-go. And even the iMac Pro, although a very powerful computer, is kind of an anti-pro workstation because it goes against the very principles of a pro machine, one that is upgradable and one that is easily repairable and one that works with standard off-the-shelf parts. I think the old cheese grater Mac Pros were wonderful because you could update the GPU. For some period of time, you could update the CPU, you can update the RAM. Everything was user accessible. You could upgrade the storage. You could do whatever you wanted with it. You can't do that with any of Apple's lineup. And I feel like Apple with the trash can Mac Pro, although it was a cool machine, was trying to invent the wheel with a market that no one wanted Apple to reinvent. Pros don't need fancy features. They don't care if their machines are kind of loud. They just want something they can update and rely on and trust. And a non-upgradable machine is not that. So yeah, just go back to a tower. That's what we've all been asking for years. Joel asks, what does the Vesa mount taste like? The tech person asks, what is your favorite Apple product from 2011 and onward? HomePod. I'm kidding, it's not the HomePod. 2011, huh? That is oddly specific. I'd probably have to say, if we're not counting retro Apple stuff, the iPhone 10. Don't get me wrong, I've still got my gripes with it. Like Control Center up here is the stupidest thing ever, and it's terrible. But on the whole, I think it's a really great device, and it's the first iPhone, I think, well, probably since the iPhone 4 era, where I'm not bored with it over, 6 months later. There's not a new Android phone where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need that. It's the first phone that I have been completely complacent with for nearly the entire product cycle. And that's really unusual for me, and I think Apple should be commended for it. Benji asks, what made you start YouTube? Well, believe it or not, there was a YouTuber clear back in, again, 2008, whose name was It's Me Morpheus, Carlos Aquino. Sadly, he has since passed away. But I remember looking for an iPhone case online because I had an iPhone 3G, and that phone was made out of plastic and it scratched a Kingdom Come. It was a bad phone, and I needed a case to protect it. So I Googled something like iPhone 3G case, and I had never really watched YouTube before other than, a couple cat videos here and there because YouTube wasn't really a thing yet. And I found this guy, Carlos, who would make 20-minute long videos of iPhone cases. And I thought, this dude is weird. Who would watch this? But people did. Hundreds of people watched his videos. And I started watching him too. He was a very likable, charismatic guy. And I kind of took an interest in his, the thing he was doing. And so I thought, I could do that too. That's pretty easy. All he's doing is pressing record on a camera and talking about something, and he's getting free swag. And as a 15-year-old, I wanted free swag. And so that's why I started YouTube, to get free iPhone cases. Not very altruistic. Ricky asks, Pepsi or Coke? Trick question. Neither. I like Diet Pepsi, I like Coke Zero, but I need to lay off both. That's one of the other reasons that I'm excited to go full-time. I have not been very healthy the last several months due to all my pent-up stress with school, and now I finally have time to go to the gym again and eat healthy, and I'm excited. But I am going to miss Diet Pepsi. Holy Shrimp asks, how did your family and parents react when you told them you were going to do YouTube full-time? Well, believe it or not, I've known that YouTube was going to be my full-time gig after school for about 2 years now. And I finished my degree because, well, I was already halfway done, so it didn't make any sense to drop out. B, I genuinely love school. And then C, I want a degree. I don't necessarily believe that YouTube's going to be around forever. And while I like to think of myself as an entrepreneur, I may need a real job at one point. And to get a good job, you need a university degree. And so finishing school was always in the horizon, but I've known for a while that this was going to be my kind of gig. And my parents have been nothing short of supportive, not just from that point, but from the very beginning. I mean, I started this when I was 15 years old, and I'm sure they thought I was a weird kid that was making videos for strangers on the internet about technology and computers. But from the very beginning, they were supportive. They helped me when I was a young teenager purchase or at least acquire the gear that I needed. I remember my first camcorder, if you go back and watch my channel, was horrible. And my dad gave me my mom's old Canon HF10 when he upgraded camcorders. And that was like a huge godsend that made YouTube so much easier. And so they've been supportive every step of the way. And I'm really thankful to them for that because, without that support, I'm not sure that I would have been able to continue going at times when I was kind of lost and thought that maybe I would quit. And so, yeah, I'm very grateful for my family. They're awesome. Jack asks, hey, this is another Jack asks, which Tesla vehicle is the most compelling to you and why? Okay, so I'm guessing that Jack asked this question before I bought my Tesla Model 3 Performance, but I bought a Tesla Model 3 Performance. I've got a lot of beef with Tesla as a company. I think they do some really shady stuff when it comes to right to repair. I don't particularly like Elon Musk, at least for the money. The value proposition of a Tesla in terms of interior quality and build quality isn't that great. I mean, you get in a BMW or a Mercedes of the same price tag, and they are way nicer inside than a Tesla. But I went and drove a Tesla Model 3 Performance. I put my foot down on the accelerator and I cackled. It wasn't a laugh. I was literally cackling like a little kid, like hysterically, because it is so much fun. And it was the second that I put my foot down that I was like, okay, I need to own this. So I bought it for myself as kind of a graduation present. I'm selling my old car, which has been really excellent. It was a 2015 Mercedes C300, which I got for a killer deal back 2 years ago because I bought it from a rental fleet and it was in kind of rough condition. And I got an amazing deal and it's been an amazing car, but it's time to upgrade and I'm getting a Tesla Model 3 Performance. Timo to go asks, do you remember your first frequently surfed site? Well, as a kid, probably Homestar Runner and Addicting Games. Those were the only two websites that I ever went to. But later on, as a teenager, the first really useful website I went to was Engadget. That was before the days of The Verge, and when I was a young YouTuber, I consumed everything that I knew, which was admittedly very little at the time, about technology through Engadget. Danny from Instagram asks, should I buy a Nintendo Switch? Absolutely. It's still one of my favorite devices of 2018. I know it came out in 2017 and I've had it for more than a year and a half, but I cannot put it down. I have gaming PCs. I have PlayStation 4. I almost don't play them because my Nintendo Switch gets all of my time. I friggin' love it. Nick R. from Instagram asks, how long do you spend making each video? Well, right now, from beginning to end, so getting advertisers and planning the video and then scripting the video and then doing the video and then filming the video and then editing the video, then uploading and publishing and advertising, it takes anywhere from about 16 to 20 hours per video, which is a lot. And I want to bring that number down significantly. And part of it is because, again, I just make one video at a time. I have spent a lot of time this week kind of organizing my brain and my schedule on how can I do this more efficiently so I can make multiple videos at a time. And I've kind of come up with a rough schedule on how I plan to do that. I'll have a scripting and kind of planning and advertising day, and then I'll have a filming day and then an editing day. And it's a little more complicated than that. But that's the basic idea so that I can start pumping out more videos because each video will take less time to put together. And then I am going to outsource a lot of the editing to, well, not here, which will help save time because I hate editing. I'm not very good at it, and it takes me a lot of time. Nick B from Instagram asks, what video are you most proud of? Well, that's a good question. It would probably have to be either my 5K iMac upgrade video or the iMac Pro upgrade video. They're both very similar. I'd say the 5K iMac upgrade video because that, in terms of like the presentation and the scripting and the advertiser integration, is the video that I'm the most proud of. I think it is the best video, objectively, that I've ever made. Now, I'm also really proud of the iMac Pro video because I was the first person in the world, as far as I'm aware, to put a non-supported CPU inside of the iMac Pro. And I didn't break the machine, and I was able to successfully do a video and benchmark it. And that video has been cited by several other tech websites as kind of proof and evidence that iMac Pro does accept non-Apple bin CPUs. And so that was kind of cool because I've never been the first at anything. And hopefully I'm not the last. I've got a lot of other cool videos like that planned for the future. Other than that, though, thank you so much for watching, for your support over all of the years. Don't worry, this video was kind of boring probably, and I apologize, but I'm starting to work on some killer videos that are going to blow your socks off, many of which have been years in the making, and I'm excited to see what I can do with Snazzy Labs as a full-time YouTuber, giving it the full attention that it deserves. But most importantly, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay snazzy.